Missing the boat on this will be unrecoverable error, in my opinion.
Welcome to this special sponsored edition of Powerhouse. My guest today is Mark Y., EVP and Group CTO at Radian. Mark, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thank you for having me today, Diego. We will have some fun discussion today.
I agree. This is going to be a really good conversation. So let's just jump right in. When you think about driving innovation in mortgage and real estate, what does that mean to you at Radian?
This is a very good question, Diego. It means that we need to rethink and reinvent people, process, and technology that are working, but make them better. As you can imagine, this is not an easy task. We engineering something that already exists and is working. Let's just say it's not easy. There's an old saying, don't break something that works, right? It is even more difficult to tell mortgage and real estate veterans who have been in the industry for many years that there are better ways to do the same thing, but a lot more efficiently and cost effectively. And in the latest case, leveraging generative AI tools. So changing the mindset, embracing the possibilities, and understanding the emerging technology are some of the key elements that I am driving and promoting at Radian. Innovation in Gen AI era is more than just changing the technology landscape or a tool. It is changing the way how we think the same process that can be done differently, intelligently, and autonomously.
I really like what you said there. Don't break what's working, right? That makes a lot of sense. It's very logical. Why is now such a pivotal time for innovation in our industry?
Well, because we are at the beginning of what a lot of people consider as massive disruption in our society with AI. And I'm sure that you have heard and read a lot of news every day about AI, right? Missing the boat on this will be unrecoverable error, in my opinion. It is like, say, from DOS to Windows, BlackBerry to iPhone, Telegram to Internet, videotapes to Netflix, Borders bookstore to Amazon online. Gen AI is fundamentally changing our life in every aspect that I can imagine. It is changing how we think a unit of work can be done differently. It is changing the nature of some of the jobs that no one thought could be touched, right? The scary thing is that this AI movement is not disrupting one thing or one area. It is affecting everything. It is affecting not only mortgage and real estate industry, but banking, supply chain, the lawyers, the regulators, the doctors, basically the entire society. And this is why it is such a pivotal time for innovation, in my view.
Yeah, and I think it can be scary for some of the market participants out there. Let's dig in a little bit more on what Radian is doing with respect to generative AI and your clients with tools like intelligent document processing. Tell us more about your efforts.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, right, this Gen AI era is, fundamentally changing the way how business operation and processes should work. For example, these Gen AI tools provide capabilities that we have never seen before. These tools can now perform tasks autonomously, and in certain cases, these AI tools can even make human-like decisions. And the best part, Diego, these new AI tools are capable to learn continuously and by itself. So in the case of intelligent document processing that we at Radian develop, instead of spending months to train a new document, our new solution just needs a fraction of time with very little to no training, and it just know how to understand and interpret a new document. The differences that we are seeing between traditional solution versus Gen AI solution is day and night. And looking forward, we see Gen AI technology will change company, both internally and externally. Internally, in the sense that these Gen AI applications can significantly improve operational efficiency in the areas, again, document processing, underwriting, business rules, and policy management. Externally, in the sense that we will have very customized and intelligent agentic AI agent to guide our customers in real time, 724, highly interactive, very accurate, all autonomously, just like having a live human operator on duty. By the way, the old tools kind of able to do what I just described, but it takes many tools and a long time to develop. And the old tools simply do not have capability to learn by itself, which is a big difference as compared to the new generation of these new AI tools that we are seeing today.
In your work with Radian clients, what's one of the biggest myths about digital transformation in mortgage and real estate that you try to dispel? And how is Radian overall trying to shift that mindset?
Well, there were quite a few myths in the past decade, if you remember, Diego, right, about digital transformation in our industry. It always started with one promise that this one silver bullet will transform the entire industry, right? First, if you remember, many years ago, maybe 10 years ago, it was portal, right? People said that if you create a portal, everything will be golden. Everything will be straight through processing. Of course, if you just transform a small part at the front end of a mortgage transaction, you are leaving out many legacy processes in the back end. So portal by itself didn't turn out to be the silver bullet in terms of transforming our entire industry digitally. It improved a small part of the larger ecosystem, but that's it. Then it came, predictive analytic. Then came blockchain. Then not too long ago, maybe 2 years back, right? Metaverse, etc., etc. They all started with lots of promises, but then the industry eventually realized that it needs more than one technology to transform our very complex and complicated mortgage process that involve, as you know, multiple parties, many layers, not to mention other regulations and compliance in between. So what we are doing here at Radian, Diego, is that we are partnering with all the participants within the mortgage and real estate ecosystem, leveraging different technologies and innovations so that we can address the different needs. There's just no one size fits all solution. There's no one silver bullet. I wish I can say it, but there's no one silver bullet. But there are tools and solutions that we can transform and digitize our industry. And I believe companies that will succeed must strategically tackle the digital transformation holistically, not just piecemeal.
Yeah, I think you make a very compelling point that there is no silver bullet or one size fits all technology, but there are a lot of tools that Radian can pull together with your clients to help improve the customer experience. How are you doing that from application to close?
So let me say this. In the next few years, there's no doubt in my mind that um, the mortgage process will be faster, easier, with higher customer satisfaction. And when do it right, it will drive down the overall cost as well. However, I also wanted to cautious people about their expectation. After all, we are talking about buying a house, which is different than, say, buying a $20 book uh, in Amazon. I think people uh, were expecting the Amazon moment, right? And breakthrough in the mortgage industry where you can buy and complete the transaction with just one click. Think about it. I'm not too sure if I personally want to buy a house with just one click online. We're talking about a lot of money.
No way.
And no way. Well, some people might. I cannot say. I cannot speak for everyone, right? And also, I'm not too sure if I want to buy a house without looking at it in person, right? So while technology can help us to go a long way, we also must have um, the right expectation on what technology can do and should do, especially from humanity perspective and people expectation perspective.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if you think about a first-time home buyer, it's very difficult to do that transaction in one click. So I think you make a lot of sense there. How is Radian using emerging technology to stay ahead of all these shifting market dynamics and consumer expectations?
Yeah. Again, good question. First and foremost, we at Radian are fortunate to have a CEO and an executive team that believe in technology. Without their support, investment, and commitment, it is not possible to keep up with the market and customer expectations, let alone stay ahead. Second, I see this as whether a company wants to stay relevant or not. I do not think we have a choice. Again, can you imagine you're still using DOS instead of Windows or Mac OS, right? Can you imagine you're still using a BlackBerry phone instead of iPhone? Can you imagine you're still using Yahoo to do internet search instead of Perplexity AI, right? So cutting technology expense is an easy and common strategy, but strategize on using emerging technology to help business to grow, compete, and transform is what help company to win. Look at Walmart. Look at Bank of America. Not too long ago, right? These were brick and mortar company, but look at how they transform themselves through technology and vigorous innovation. Those who don't innovate and invest in technology are all our business. Lastly, I would say we will make some mistake along the way. Every time when we talk about technology, there are risks. There's an old saying from Wayne Gretzky, the legendary ice hockey player. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So think about it, right? Company will miss 100% of growth opportunity if they don't innovate, period.
Yeah, let's let's dig in a little bit more there and talk about risk. What's the risk for mortgage and real estate companies if they don't invest in innovation?
This one is easy. In a world that is driven by technology and innovation, those who don't innovate will not survive, in my view. Look at Sears, the department store. Remember that? Look at Blockbuster, video stores. Then look at Walmart and Bank of America, as I mentioned earlier, right? So when you connect the dots, it is pretty clear where company needs to invest and strategize on.
All right. So, last question in this really fascinating conversation. If you could leave our audience with one takeaway about Radian's role in shaping the future of mortgage and real estate, what would that be?
Yeah. Um, One thing that I love working at Radian is that we have very noble goals and vision. It is embedded in our culture. And my favorite Radiance tagline is this: ensuring the American dream of home ownership responsibly and sustainably, and creating possibilities for a place to call home. Isn't this neat? This is why we come to work every day. At Radian, we will always think about and take the leadership role in terms of what we can help and empower our customer to achieve home ownership through technology and innovative products and services. And this is one takeaway that I would like to leave it to this audience.
Mark, what a wonderful conversation we've just had. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Diego, for the opportunity today.